Hello everyone, welcome for this new community show. Thank you so very much for joining me. It has been 2 weeks that we were missing due to some computer problem, but we are back. And today we are with Drindin, our executive producer. We will be talking in detail about the Dryfoot Fortress release. So we'll be reading the patch note of last week's, the patch that has been released already, and the new hotfix and some more news. Let's get started. And here we are, Drindin. Hello and welcome to the community show.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Yes, I'm excited too because it's been 2 weeks that there had been no community show, and last week was a very important patch. So we're going to discuss about everything which should have been discussed last week, but last week I didn't have a computer. I was rebuilding a new one, and so I didn't manage to get everything ready in time. So sorry for that. So can you describe what I did miss last week? Because I was not there that day.
Well, last week we had our patch that introduced 2 new dungeons. The Osric's Rest dungeon, which is a solo dungeon, and then we had the Dryfoot Fortress, which everyone has been waiting for quite some time, so a lot of excitement surrounding that. The hidden entrance was secret, and I can confirm Nautilus was the first one to find the entrance to Osric's Rest, and that was pretty fun to see. We were kind of floating around the zone watching people search for it, so that was a lot of fun. Also, the puzzle to get through Osric's Rest was also fun to watch people go through.
Oh, dear.
So, yeah, we have a whole new puzzle system and tech for opening gates, and lots of other things can be built off of that. So, yeah, even the Academy right now is doing a lot of research with this tech, trying to figure out how if they can use it with any alchemy. So we'll see what happens there. And then we had raids enter the game. Our first raid boss is about level 38, the Emerald Queen, Vertigrax, the beetle. So that mob has been taken down, I think, at least twice at this point. So, check it out. So we had our first raid boss, first raid encounter. We had some tweaks we had to go through for our hotfix, so we'll talk about that a little bit today as well. And yeah, we're just moving forward at the speed of light as usual. And we've already got 3 new quests for the fortress ready to go for this next month. So it's pretty exciting times.
Oh, that's really cool.
I don't know if I covered everything, but we'll get into it.
No, but it's very nice, and what is really exciting is what you just described, the fact that when the last patch was released last week and I was not there, you could follow the players and see a little bit what they were doing, and that's a really exciting moment in general when we have a new patch and you guys are doing that, or usually I do that too, but not this time.
Oh, and I will follow up on what Monsoon said. We do have 3 other raid bosses in the game that were in there before we had the raid tech implemented, and players were just taking those down with multiple groups, not having a raid group. But what I had meant was level 38 is the first raid boss as far as progression goes. But yes, we've had raid bosses in, but now we have raid tech in as well. And the first raid boss that you will encounter if you're leveling up is level 38, unless we add more, which we fully intend to add more raid bosses as we go. I just don't know what levels they are yet, so we'll go from there.
Oh, nice. If there's do you have any idea of in which zone we will have a first red boss if we had to make one earlier than the Emerald Queen or lower level than the Emerald Queen?
Well, I think our goal would be to have raid bosses in every zone if we can find a way to do that. So, I mean, that would be the goal.
Including
So,
New Haven Valley.
well, we already have the skull boss in there, Misha. So I don't know if you consider that quite a raid boss, but
Well, usually it's taken down by one group, so
yeah. What I would like to see is another bigger batter bear.
oh, that would be really cool. So you thought Misha was the ancient beer? No, no, no. Oh yeah, like a sneaky, elusive ancient bear. That would be really cool. Oh, very nice. Okay, well, I propose that we get into the reading of the patch note of last week. So maybe a lot of you have been doing by yourself. But if you missed, if you didn't, it's the chance to sit back, relax, take your popcorn, and let me read it for you. Let's go. There we go. So that was the patch note for last week patch. But I'm reading them now. This month patch introduced 2 new dungeons, a new creature, and red frame. There are also a number of tech additions that will enable us to make the game more interactive in future patches. Tech NPCs fixed a bug that caused some NPC to not respect their reset distance. This mainly impacts skull boss mobs. Fixed an issue with some NPCs not properly animating their combat stance. This mainly impacts Stonecoats and Nocturne, who will sometimes be in combat but animating their idle stance, which can be confusing sometimes. Fixed an issue with return mail stripping data from stackable component, rendering them unstackable with previous stack. And fixed an issue where mail will sometimes no show up for recipient. I think those are 2 very important bugs because it has affected several players and it has been reported, and it took some time to discover what those bugs truly were, and people were afraid that their item had disappeared in the nether. Thankfully, they were not disappearing. Can you say a little bit more about that one thing particularly?
Sure, yeah. People were sending items and they were not being received, but upon expiration of the waiting period for someone to click to receive mail, it would return back to them. But it just kind of blipped out for a little bit. And I think the conclusion was, I'm not 100% sure on this, but matching IDs or something like that. I'm not a big social server guy or tech guy, so I can't necessarily explain it very well. But yeah, there were some issues with the mail, and now they're fixed.
Yeah, so if someone had this problem, now it's fixed. It's nothing but in case you should receive your item back to you. So after 10 days, you will receive the mail back. The mail was invisible for the person that received it, but the items have not disappeared. So if it happened to you, don't worry. The sender should see the item back in the sender mailbox.
Correct.
And then you can do the transaction again, and this time it will work because the bugs is fixed. Wandering NPCs now do their best to not face a wall during their pause between wander spots. Oh yeah, I know. We had the big Drollskin Dryfoot doing that sometimes. I think it has been fixed long ago, but it was funny to see him like he's being punished. He was licking the cliff of of the
I think he was
mountain.
just looking for bugs in the cracks.
Yes, probably. It's probably something like that. NPCs will now more intelligently select which ability to use based on their health fraction, which I think is a really nice addition. Heals will be used less frequently at higher health, defensive abilities will be used less frequently at max health, and death save abilities will be used closer to death, which is really good. More humanoid loading performance optimization, they will likely have a minor impact, but every teeny bit help. We are continuing to work on improvement here. So if someone is asking, are you working on the performance is something we always work on, constantly. As soon as we find a way, a possibility, something that will help, it is done. It's just that the thing need to be thought about or found first. Added some new tech for synchronizing item state across the network with very little additional overhead. This will allow us to make a more interactive world through the use of more interactive objects, trap, and other contraption. I think that's a big deal. In this patch, we have converted many of the drum found in Ravenrock plus Exiles to be interactive, allowing you to beat on them. While this may not seem like much at first, we have many things planned for future patches. There may also be some other contraption to be found in other requests. Yeah, that's pretty cool, and as a lore person, this will of course have impact on the quest and the lore and all that kind of things.
Yeah.
So that's pretty cool. Environment.
Question for the stream. Does anyone know who Osric is?
Oh, that's a good question. Environment art. Fix a number of stuck spots in Northreach, Middleland, Dryfoot Stronghold, Grimstone Canyon, Highland Hills, Ember Vein, Central Vein, Aquifer, and Grizzle Peak. Thanks to each and every one of you that stay stuck to allow us to correct those spots. Fix an issue with a droll stop animation. Fix a number of LOD issue with barn and building. Replace a number of grass prefab used through dungeon with the same shader materials used in the overworld. And added more VFX usage for various regen effects on mob abilities. And those we have already received some nice feedback related to that. You can see, for example, some crab that are using the regen effect. You can see the little green cross popping, like they are using an ability. So it will help to give some clue about the fights that are more visual for players, so you don't just have to check the buff or the debuff that you see on the creature, but you will have some more obvious visual clue during a fight and during a combat, which I think is really good and is very helpful for strategy. Interface. Fix an issue with a confirmation text of monolith context invoke teleport not properly referencing travel essence. Loot roll item tooltip will now include the approximate time remaining to roll on the item. Tooltip for interactive zone point, door, etc. now properly indicate zone or teleport depending on the context. Your character's effect icon panel can now be locked via a right-click context menu similar to interface nameplates. Secondary effects are no longer shown on applied effect tooltip if that part of the effect is not applied. Tasks enveloped in the bulletin board UI have now a background highlight and a cursor change when they are an active button. Quest list is now sorted by quest title. Confirmation dialogue are automatically cancelled if another confirmation dialogue is invoked. Added a confirmation dialogue when rolling need greed on a soulbound item, which is really good. Added a confirmation dialogue when attempting to loot a soulbound item. To avoid drama between people that are useless. Added a new interface element we are calling symbolic links that come into play when placing an item into a remote window for potential transaction, outgoing trade, or mail. Those links are basically deemed out the duplicate of the item that ensure a spot is available in the case the transaction is cancelled. When the transaction concludes, those links go away. Player can now trade and mail items from their gathering bags. Added red frame, see below. All those interface change or quality of life change that are referring into the patch note is something we're continuously working on as it comes. So when we encounter it, when we find a solution for it, there's plenty of things that need to be done. There's a long list of stuff that can be improved. So do not worry, it is something that we're thinking about, we're considering about. So continue to report it and to give your feedback if there's something you think should be improved. So we are aware of what you guys think and what you guys will find comfortable. But this is always something that we are working on. We cannot just work on everything that needs to be done at once, you know, because as usual, small team, not enough time, too much stuff to do, etc., etc., etc. It's always the same discourse, but it's just the reality of things. So just be patient, and we will do our best to provide as much improvement as possible. Design. The Cordon weapons, Cordon offhand items, legacy item from skull mobs, and legendary item from skull mobs will now be marked as soulbound. This change is retroactive and will happen at the next inventory validation, which occurs at logging or zoning. If any of those items are in shared storage or mail, they will remain as is until the next time you log in or zone with them in your possession, including your personal bank. Doubled the loot roll timer for soulbound item. Tripled corpse expiration timer on skull boss to 7.5 minutes. Note, however, that locked loot permission will expire after 5.25 minutes, meaning anyone can loot at 5.25 minutes. The cost of mailing stackable item has been halved. Oh, that's a nice feedback that you have given us after the first months of using the mail. That it was a little bit too expensive for a stacked item, and so here it is. Thanks for your feedback. Updated protector plate to be more gold in color. Corrected stat on Black Tyrann longsword. Scorpio will now assist each other. Quest and dialogue correction for Surgeon Brutus. Added Unusul necklace and added wishing for a well. So that's our 2 new quests that you can do. Alright. Anything you want to add, Drindin, before I get to the new stuff?
Not really, just the, we wanted to have some quests in with the fortress going in. So wishing for a well was the first quest that we added for that, but there will be more coming in with the next patch. So,
and now to the new stuff. New mobs, the Scarabags. Look at this beautiful Scarabags. Isn't that a nice creature? We can see all of the detail.
Looks terrifying.
And the little face, it's cute. Look at this cute face. Like, that's a really nice creature. So when we have a new creature, it's a big deal. So Drindin, do you want to speak a little bit more about the new Scarabags?
Well, they don't just fly around, they also burrow, which is how we think they might have gotten into the fortress in the first place. We know that they were evolved from Ember, but we're not really sure where or how.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're just trying to learn more about them now that drifters are reporting to New Haven and especially the Academy that they've found a new creature. So we're we're trying to figure out how they came to be. But yeah, these guys are they're nasty. They like to stun you. They like to gang up on you. They are very social. So
Yeah, and they charge, and it's crazy. And they're really nice. And they do come with different horn and different color shade. And so you will find a variety of Scarabaks.
I really love their flying animation when they chase after you. It's pretty cool.
So
It's one of the coolest creatures, I think, so far.
yeah, it's a really nice one. So I hope you guys like it. A new bulb has been discovered. Behold the Scarabaks. This large sentient beetle can be found in the 2 new dungeons released this patch, see below. On the surface they seem rather unassuming, but they're a dangerous foe. Prepare your hunting log. Oh yes, they're in the hunting log. That's really nice. Osric Rest, a soloable dungeon has been added to Dryfoot, intended for level 33 to 34. Will you brave Osric Rest? Here you have 2 screenshots, and I do have plenty more to show you. So Osric Rest is not only a solo dungeon, but it's also the entrance to the fortress. So every group will have to go through the Osric Rest and do the puzzle. And it's the first dungeon with a puzzle. And something I want to add, it's few months ago, someone was asking or was suggesting into the suggestion forum on Discord that it would be really great to have a dungeon where you have to open doors. And so basically we have given the wish for that person. I think it's called Cuts. It has been thanking us in that thread. Say, thank you for adding Osric Rest. Thank you. I'm working my way to do the puzzle.
And the puzzle can be done solo, but it's most easily done with a group. So get your friends together. You can go through it much quicker. We are going to be, I think with the next hotfix, we're reducing the respawn rate there. So it won't quite be as crazy going through there. But yeah, it's a teamwork thing. You split up and try to figure out what you need to do. So
in any case, it is not wishable to go by yourself in the Dryfoot Fortress itself, because that's very much a group content. I don't think even level 50s by themselves they might be in trouble if they get there.
And if you're trying to get through to meet a group, they can certainly come back. The gate is pretty close to the zone into the fortress, so they can come back and flip the switch for you from the other side, which is a one and done switch.
Yeah, absolutely. So you need to be able to enter, but once you have entered, it's much easier to get out. So here it is, the Dryfoot Fortress. The Dryfoot Fortress is finally open for business. After teasing you for all those years, you can finally explore the innards. This dungeon is split into 2 segments, one geared towards level 33 to 36 players, and the other for level 44 to 48. Here you can see some screenshots.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
It's a huge dungeon. It's very big.
Yeah, it's very big, that's true. New content, red frame. This month we have added red frame functionality to the game. This tech allows for 4 groups to team up, forming a 24-player red. This is basically an extended group that unlocks a few features and functionality. The minimum requirement to form a red is 2 separated groups. So basically you need to be 4 players, 2 in one group, 2 in another group, and then you can form a red. And you can do that up to 24 player maximum. That doesn't mean that you need to have 24 players to be successful as defeating a skull boss. That will depend a little bit about the group and the boss. But that's the maximum size of a group for a raid. If you are not a member of a group, you cannot form a raid. To join a raid, you must first join a group, and then that group may join or start a raid. To start a raid, you must invite another player who is member of a group. If you send a raid invite a player which is not the group leader, the invite will be redirected to the group leader. Only the group leader can leave a raid. Nearby raid member refer to all raid member within the 15 meters of the source, which is typically the NPCs being looted. Currency is distributed to all nearby raid members. Loot roll apply to all nearby raid member. Loot roll timer are doubled when initiated from a raid. Red window show other group and each members armor, health, stamina level and roll spec. You can select individual via the red window as usual, but there are currently no keybind available. Leaders of each group are shown with a chronicon, while the red leader chronicon will be colored gold. Red member, not part of your group, will have gold-colored overhead name. No experience is awarded for NPC kills when a member of a raid. They are not intended for leveling. A new chat channel via /red. So, and then you have all the list of the comments here. Please think of this new tech as an extension to the current group mechanic. We understand and recognize the need for different looting configuration, like Master Looter, and will be working to expand upon this functionality soon. Also note that there are no current context menu action for Red. It all must be done via chat command. We're hoping to add this soon as well. So basically, this is the first step for a proper red system. Can you speak a little bit more about that, Drindin?
Yeah, I mean, you know, what we right now you can right click on a person or their name in the chat and you can get the context menu up and you can invite people to groups, but not yet to the raids. So those will be coming soon. You know, the raids, like Elloa said, it's kind of the first step. We're going to be adding more raid bosses. We're going to be adding more content for these raids. So, you know, don't lose heart. We're coming up with that stuff.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, you know, Master Looter and those kinds of things, we're definitely going to be thinking about how we want to implement those. So you can look forward to those coming soon, but I think probably we want to focus on some of the more content first. While we think about that. So things are being done kind of hand in hand, but you know, you can look forward to that stuff as we go forward into the future.
So yeah, do not think about our current red frame as a complete finished product. It's a work in progress, but you already have the functionality, even if it's a bit rough and bare right now. So it can help with loot, with organization of red. Even to I know or a level 50 had their own system and they work it through. This is not intended to be forever, right? We always wanted to add a red frame. We just didn't have the time to work on it, right?
Yeah, or the right solutions for what we were hoping to do, and finally after hashing it out, we figured it out. So
yes,
absolutely. There you go.
Absolutely.
Once we figure the things out and we have a good method for implementing, that isn't going to break things. We typically get things in pretty quick. So
yeah, this is a weird part of development, and we're probably not developing Embers Adrift as you will see your usual MMORPG being developed, but we are also doing with our special situation, and so we do our best. And so I hope those red frame will allow you to have fun together. It doesn't really respond to the desire of some people to have, let's say, a group with 7 person or with 8 member, because I know some people wanted that. Or you can do it, but you will not gain experience, so it might not be your favorite solution related to leveling up together. So this is more thought for looting process and defeating bosses activity.
Correct.
All right. Last, next month, the current short list of deliveries you can expect from next month. Engine upgrade to Unity 2022? Interrogation point. Due to the many hotfixes we had to deploy this month, this line item got punted. We're hopeful we can get this rolling for June. With the introduction of new low overhead interactive object, we will be exploring some interesting mechanic to bring a city monolith online, and I know so many people will be so happy to not have to do the walk from the Northreach monolith to the city. Much of the requisite tech for gathering plus crafting task was completed this month, which means we may be able to start adding gathering tasks for June. This list is not the definitive list of what we'll release next month, just a list of things that are currently on deck or in progress, just to give you a little idea of what we're currently working on and what you can expect. So that's it for the patch note of last week. It was a big patch. We do have a hotfix for today, so let's see what this hotfix is all about. Okay. Fixed an issue preventing one of our navigation settings from taking hold. This should improve NPC navigation and response time through the entire game. Undone has been explaining this problem in one of the last meeting I think we had on Discord. Fix an issue preventing chest content from being distributed via loot roll while grouped. That was a weird bug last week indeed.
Yeah.
Fix stuck spot in Meadowland and Dryfoot Fortress. Fix missing leader icon in red frame when they are out of range or in a different zone. Fix an issue with wishing for a well turn in requiring you to close and reopen the dialogue. This is a bug that has been reported many times, so that bug is fixed. Fix some spelling and grammar mistakes in Alden dialogue. Updated some navigation link in Dryfoot Fortress to be bidirectional. Disabled MYP mapping for background mountain texture in Dryfoot, causing them to be extremely blurry. Ah, nice. Yeah. Dryfoot Fortress prop fixes, Dryfoot environment fixes, prop LOD adjustment, adjusted audio event for block plus parry / repost so that they are more consistent. This also has been discussed this week or last week on Discord. Adjusted all avoid block parry and repost animation to be roughly once again. Reduce the respawn rate in Osric Rest. And widened all well-traveled roads. So the respawn rate in Osric Rest, that's very welcome because I think a lot of people, including myself, had been found ourselves a little bit overwhelmed by the respawn rate. So I think everyone will be happy. It's still meant to be. It's a very particular case because Osric Rest is quite a big solo dungeon. It's not a teeny solo loop. It's quite important, but it serves as much for solo player to do their solo stuff and for a full group to enter into the Dryfoot Fortress. So the respawn need to be high enough to not have the 6-man group depleting the war zone and you have 2 solo players that cannot do anything in it because that group is gone, but at the same time it cannot be so fast that if you only are 2 in this whole area, you're not being completely overwhelmed by mobs. Is there any comment or any question related to the patch note and the hotfix, guys?
I think Zig had a question, and the answer is it's just not always easy to track down bugs. You know, when we were testing the raid frames, we had issues with the chests being lootable for the whole raid, and then that I don't know how the bug with the group chests got messed up, but it's not always easy to track down the bugs. So we knew it was an issue and we tried to get it fixed as quick as possible, so sorry for that, but it's fixed now, and try to be making sure that we do things as quick as possible, but sometimes it's just not always an easy fix or easy to figure out what the issue is. So bear with us on those ones. Sorry about that.
So yeah, and Don is saying it required a server restart, and I don't like restarting the server if I can avoid it. And the bug has not been reported until Thursday. Yeah, I remember it was during my stream that we were exploring Oz request and we had this bug first. And at first I thought it was kind of because of my automatic setting, auto loot stuff, like I'm auto greeting on certain things and auto passing on some other. And so I firstly thought it was that. So it took us like a few chests before to realize, no, there's really something wrong here. No one is getting anything from those chests.
And then the widened all well-traveled roads, that's going in, and that I think has been something that has been highly requested by the community as well, that just all the well-traveled roads aren't so finicky. But yeah, they're all widened now. So
I was the only one that actually enjoyed to have to do the mini game of staying in the middle of the road, and it stuck so much to me that even in World of Warcraft I was was traveling in the middle of the road, and I was, oh no, it's not working here. There's no buff here. So I found it quite fun. But well, that was just me. So Ziggy saying, that will do it. It was just curious. I think a server reset in that scenario is justified, but yeah, not hearing about it till the end of the work week doesn't make it any easier. No, like, that's why we are very grateful for your feedback, guys. Your feedback is precious, and we will act upon them, or we will consider them as fast as possible. I really hope that you realize as a whole that we are actually listening to feedback. I think we have proven it many times. So it doesn't come as fast as someone may want, because small team, not a lot of time, lots of things to do, blah 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 blah. But we are always reading the feedback, including on the Discord suggestion form. We're not always answering it, so maybe I should just add a little emote or something when something is read to make you realize, okay, this has been read. But all those kind of things take a lot of time, etc. So, yeah. All right. Well, what about discussing a little bit more about the Dryfoot Fortress itself?
Sure.
The topic of the week this week is obviously the Dryfoot Fortress. So this dungeon had been planned since way before the release of the game, even for a very long time. Here I'm playing a little gameplay segment of my character, and then the Nathan Napalm group in Oz Request, so you can have an idea of this new dungeon. So when we were conceptualizing the Dryfoot Fortress way before now, we were always thinking about this kind of tunnel aspect. So we wanted to have a tunnel that were leading the player to the open world, to the inside of the fortress. It has never been a question of opening the front gate easily. It has always been the player will need to find the tunnel, and they will have to explore the tunnel before they can reach the Dryfoot Fortress. However, the puzzle is something pretty new. So can you explain a little bit about that?
Yeah, I mean, as you said, we definitely had this idea of the tunnel kind of leading to the fortress, and I should probably, maybe I can go into a little bit of the lore here, but there is a quest that talks about someone named Osric, and he's in a certain situation. He is one of the Vihuramen, and I don't know if I should like. I don't want to spoil the quest if people haven't done it yet. But he is stuck here, and yeah, I don't know. It's connected. It's connected to an event that happened in the past that was very dangerous for the Vihuraman, and is connected to the reason why you don't see the Vihuraman thriving and living here anymore. So this Dryfoot Fortress is obviously not made by New Haveners. It was made by the Vihuraman many years ago, and it was kind of destroyed, or at least the gate was destroyed in this event, and there was only one way out, this escape tunnel basically. So the reason that you have gates in here, we kind of used the lore to justify everything as well, but now that we have this puzzle tech in, we could kind of also lean on the fact that this is an escape tunnel. And the reason it's harder to get in than it is to get out is because it's supposed to be easy to escape out of, but not easy to get into, because
it's protection. It's protection.
You would have had to have been one of the Vihuramen to know the secrets of opening up the escape tunnel from the outside to get in. So
and what's
very
really
easy to escape from the escape tunnel, not so easy to infiltrate through the escape tunnel.
and here in just a little segment you just saw right here on your screen, that's not the puzzle, but that's just opening the gate. But this opening of the gate kind of give you already some clue about what may happen with the lever and with the puzzle. So you already have a kind of a little way of kind of understanding. So be attentive. So we're not spoiling the solution here. Be attentive to those type of little clue that will help you, if you think about it, to find our actual solution to do that.
And there are tooltips on the doors. So if you hover your mouse on the gates, you'll see a tooltip.
Yeah, it's true. You have a little, I don't know, like a verse, a riddle, something that will help you to also have an idea. So it's pretty cool. Once you know the solution, it's pretty easy. It might be very difficult the first time you're doing it because you don't know where you need to go, you don't know what you have to do, so you might turn around for a while before figuring out the solution. The solution might be shared by the community, or you may have to find, so please don't spoil yourself if you like to figure things by yourself. And once you know it too, then it will be much easier. So you don't have to be afraid that it will be the same kind of struggle every time you want to get into the Dryfoot Fortress. Once you know it, well, you know it.
Yeah, it is soloable. It's a solo dungeon, and we've adjusted the respawn rates to make it a little better as well for solo players.
Yes.
And to answer your other question, I think Elloa is working on a video right now that's going to kind of go over everything that we've kind of improved upon. Is that just since the last anniversary, or is that the whole since we launched Elloa?
Oh, the load I'm preparing since launch. I'm going to gather everything since launch, but it will take a while before it's released. But I'm working on it. So, but yeah.
But ultimately, we have. If you read through the state of the games in our forums, they kind of do an overview of what we've added each month. It's a little shorter than the patch notes, so you can go into our forums to Stormhaven News and you can read those state of the game updates. We'll have another one coming out very soon to cover this patch too. So
yeah, so to answer Spot the Healer, so you have been, so that's nice. I'm going to answer several players that have not been playing Embers for a long time. this year, the start of this year, we have really focused the game on making it more accessible for solo player. Not because we want to transform Embers Adrift into yet another MMORPG you can entirely solo through, but to ensure that if you don't find a group, or if you don't have the time, or you're not in the mood, you have something meaningful to do with your character. So you will find solo loop in every Ember vein of the game. So that means 12 or 13, I don't remember, or 11, I'm not sure, but on top of my head how many Ember vein we have. But each Ember vein have a loop that you can solo by yourself. May you be a defender, a supporter, or a striker. Of course, every class will meet different difficulties on soloing certain things and different easiness on soloing certain creature or content or whatever. But it's soloable by everyone, and you will find named boss with new loot, chest, gathering, node, everything to have a really proper soloable adventure. In addition of the solo loop that you have in every Ember vein, and in some dungeon like Aquifer Karst, Aquifer Undercroft, and now Osric Rest, which is the last solo dungeon we have. You do have the bulletin board, which are adding some little tasks you can accomplish to gain some experience. Those tasks will be mostly a kill at the moment, so you need to kill, let's say, 15 boar, for example, or you need to find 3 doomed spider and 5 other spider. And those little tasks give you some experience. Some are also exploration, so you need to go in a certain specific area, and more will come to diversify, but we started with the kill task because they were the easier to put in place. There will be also in future crafting task and gathering task that you will be able to do to level up crafting and level up gathering. So those are solo activity we have been adding to the game this year. So there's plenty of content now to do by yourself. And this content is made in such a way to encourage you to group up. For example, you're doing a solo loop in an Ember vein, and you might meet another player which is also doing that solo group. You're making a duo, and then you have another guy which is looking for a party at the same level, and then you can start up your group, and then you go into the group loop instead of the solo loop. That has already happened in game, so our idea was really to encourage player to stay around in the game, even if they didn't find a group immediately, long enough to set up a group and to find other player to play with. There it is. So now the fortress itself, because we have not told so much about it, it's an open world dungeon. And the open world dungeon are personally my favorite dungeon, because it's nice to be under tunnel, but I really like dungeon in the open world where you can see the sky, you can see the sun, and you can see the change of light. That's very much a personal thing, but I like that. And so I'm so happy that we have another really challenging overworld dungeon, because the Dryfoot Fortress is not easy. Like, it's seriously a dungeon, right?
Oh yeah.
And
it's very, very much group based.
Yeah. And we do have a lot of different corner with different type of mob. So you also have a variety of content into that dungeon, with the stone coats, the drolks, you have Scorpio, you have marauders, you have, of course, the new creature, the scarabags.
Rippers.
Yeah, you have plenty of things. So, and you have different level area as well. We are saying there's one side which is for level 33 to 36, and one side which is for level 44 to 48. But you will have like pack of mob that are more for 33, and then pack of mob that are more for 35, etc. So it's pretty nice in terms of difficulty. Also, you can really find different challenges challenges and different type of creature, in also different condition of environment. So the pool will be different, and yeah, the fights are going to be much more varied. You also have the possibility to fight onto the rampart. I think that's really, really cool. So you can fight on the rampart and you can see below what's going on. Are grubs a new model? Ask Utmost Ruffle. It's a new model we have for a long time. That model we have for a long time, but we have not revealed it yet. We were waiting
We had, you'll notice the chameleon models.
the slash scale,
Often, they have on sticks, they have these little grubs, like they've been roasting them, like marshmallows.
Yeah.
But we haven't had them running around in the game yet, so now we kind of know that the snatch scales like to eat these grubs, and they like to eat and the grubs are actually scarabax beetle babies. So
would that suggest that we will find some scarabags in Retro Forest at some point?
Maybe not. Maybe they just haven't finished their tunnels to get in there and take vengeance on the snatch scales. We'll have to see what happens. But
oh my gosh.
But yeah, so we had these grubs animated, but we didn't quite have the zone we wanted to implement them yet. So that being said, it's kind of a new model. I mean, it's a model we've had in the game, but not had animated in the game. So now you have them animated.
Yeah. So it is the first time you're saying it. It's the only place where you will fight the grubs. Yeah. It will be fun. The scarabax larvae, nice. They look at familiar things. Yeah, that's why you were saying. I saw that somewhere. Yeah, you saw that in the little houses of the snatch scales. So, just because you are here today, Drindin, so I will be forced to ask you to drop some beans a little bit.
Beans?
Not too much, but we want beans. I mean, you're there, we want beans.
All right. What are you thinking?
I don't know what will be the next big piece of content, because while people enjoy quality of life feature, they are more excited by the content release. So what will be our next so it's not going to be next month, obviously, but
right. Well, I will say that we are prepping Forgotten Depths 3 right now.
Nice.
We are also working on another Emberstone quest for you right now. I'm not sure if it's going to hit June. I hope it hits June, but it might be July. So I think that'll make it so you can get your Emberstone up to 300 in the game total.
Ooh, nice.
And this quest maybe, I'm just kidding. You might learn more about the others in this quest.
Ooh, that's very exciting. So that will be for high level.
Yes, it's a higher level quest.
Okay. So a high level
I don't know.
quest,
I think it's like 35 plus. Let's say that. So that's what I mean by high level.
Okay,
it might
nice.
be. I don't know. We haven't dialed that in yet, but yes.
Very, very exciting. So Forgotten Depth 3 is being prepared. So Forgotten Depth 3 is the last part of the dungeon Forgotten Depth. You already have access to Forgotten Depth 1, Forgotten Depth 2. So Forgotten Depth 3, what kind of level range can we expect? Is it already very defined or not? Not really.
It's going to have several sections. There's going to be a lot of different creatures in there. This is going to be a larger range from what I know now. That's subject to change, but it's going to be a high level dungeon. The epic quests are going to take you there, so you can expect those to be either implemented with the launch of Forgotten Depths 3 or shortly after the launch of Forgotten Depths 3. And it might not matter quite so much because the epic quests are in phases. So there's like 3 phases to the epic quests. So you'll have plenty to do while we fully implement them with Forgotten Depths 3, but there's some really cool new the whole Forgotten Depths 3 is pretty unique, but there's an asset that I've been wanting to get in for a long time.
Oh, I know what you're
It's
talking
part of the
about.
epic quest. It's
Yeah.
it's
I
a
know.
special. It's special.
Yes,
It's special.
it's
That's
nice.
all I'll say.
Yeah. That's a nice bean. It's a nice bean. Because just the smile is the bean. That's what it is. We have a question. Does the fortress drop something for all classes? That will be a Adrift question because I'm not really sure about the loot table in the Dryfoot Fortress. But it should be like usual. Most classes have stuff to find.
Are we talking? Are you referring to the reagents or to just like equipment?
No, I think it's not. Who cares about region? No, about the good stuff. The stuff you're wearing to upgrade your character.
Yeah, I think there's a little bit of everything for people. And I'm not 100% sure, but I think, don't quote me on this, but I think the ability books might also drop in there. Maybe I shouldn't say that.
Yeah,
I'll have to double check with Adrift on that one.
Yeah, to have the real answer to this question, come to the meeting Wednesday and ask Adrift directly. But they should be new shirts. Because we have the new shirt design. So we have a new shirt that look different.
Yeah, there are new armor visuals that drop in there, so go get your cool new shiny shirts. The Under Armour, the hauberks.
All right, time to discuss about the community news. I want to speak about 2 video and 1 live stream about content creators that are streaming and creating content for Embers Adrift, and those are really nice video. So I will be describing and speaking a little bit about it after to show you the video. I'm showing the 3 different content at once because it's easier to do it that way, and then we will talk about each individually. All right, let's go. Let's get started.
Their largest patch possibly ever with content for their MMORPG that I'm so excited to talk about and can't wait to show you. I've been enjoying Embers Adrift, and the development team at Stormhaven Studios has been hard at work, making their world better and better each month. Lately, though, Embers Adrift has been focused on more of a kind of quality of life kind of updates. We haven't really seen a content-focused patch in a few months, but all that is about to change as their late May patch, releasing on May 28th on Tuesday, is adding raid content, a new dungeon, new creatures, and so much more, and I'm gonna cover it today. My name is Nathan. I cover MMOs and RPGs, so please subscribe and hit that like button like it owes you money.
But the reason why I say that, and the reason why I'm talking about this, is because I do feel like they sell this game short. It's not really just in the sense of advertising and everything like that, but one example is the low fantasy. I understand the low fantasy type, the thing they're going for here. But the way that things are looking, it feels like it gets more magical and more further on you go when you play the game. And that fucking feels good. Like, I feel like you're exploring that realm of discovering magic and turning this from a low fantasy into a straight up fantasy-esque game.
And voila, so 3 very nice content. So the last one you saw was Genra. Genra is a good streamer, is streaming Embers Adrift very regularly. Very chill, very relaxing person, also very knowledgeable. He has a lot to share. If you have any question, you can ask Genra. I will probably have the answer. If I don't know something about the game, I'm going to Genra and I will ask him. He will know the answer. So no, he's really, really good, and he's doing both endgame content and lower level. He's almost the only streamer to really stream high-end content. So if you want to see what the level 40 to 50 content look like, how are the zone, how are the bosses, what equipment to farm, all that kind of things, just check out Genra. The first video is of course the Nathan Napalm. And I always like to watch a video of the Nathan Napalm. The Nathan Napalm is the best salesman. He will sell Embers Adrift to me. I mean, is that good? It's always
He
good.
loves it. That's why it seems like that, because he loves it.
Yeah, it's really good. I really like his enthusiasm. Another person which is really enthusiastic is the Annoying Llama. And the video of Annoying Llama is a very interesting one, and I really recommend anyone to watch it. And at first I was like, oh no, it's Annoying Llama saying what he don't like with Embers Adrift. I was really scared. And then I watched the video, and it's much more subtle than that. It's really sharing his love for the game, knowing that there's things that he don't enjoy, and it's not a perfect game. It's really saying it. But, and that's something I want to discuss with you, Drindin. One of his main things is say that we are selling the game short. Is saying that we are not really speaking high enough of our own game, that any take as example like the low fantasy, which is not really low fantasy, is taking as an example the combat that he find amazing and all that kind of things. So basically he's saying that we are too modest.
Yeah, I mean, we're not like a seasoned studio, right? We're a pretty new studio, and so we're learning some of these things as we go. We were basically, as we were developing, a lot of the thing that people asked us was, how are we going to be different from all the other MMOs on the market? Which was a great question, and I think in an effort to like have a succinct way to describe how we were going to be different, we said low fantasy. But Annoying Llama's exactly right. It's not that it's low fantasy, it's that you're discovering magic as you go through the game. As you progress through, you're getting more and more magic, which is what we were aiming for, right? We just didn't really know how to describe it. And now that low fantasy title has kind of like stuck to us like a bad, I don't know.
Well, I don't
A bad
think
toupee or something.
we knew it would turn off so many people either.
Well, yeah,
I
and that's
thought
the
it was
unfortunate part is people think that we don't have magic, but it's just magic in a different way. It's our own system, and it's about the world being magical around you, and you, as you progress, figuring out how to tap into that magic as your character gets bigger and bigger. So yeah, it's more growing fantasy.
It also has
like
like
Embers says there in the comments.
a very strong science fiction aspect to it, which is why I tried to come up with this term, the medieval science fiction. Of course, you don't really have a steam gun and all that kind of things, but it still kind of have this kind of aspect to it, because we had built our lore in our supernatural phenomenon in a more kind of scientific manner than spiritual or overworldy manner.
Yeah, I would say it's studied like a science, but it's activated like a magic. So I don't know that, like, in my opinion, I think you got a great descriptor there, but I don't know that I would use the term science fiction.
No, people
I would
think, yeah.
I would say, like, and what we've changed it to on the website is unique fantasy, right? It's a unique fantasy. It's not going to be your same old thing that you're, the same trope that you experience in other MMOs. Magic is different in our world, and it's beautiful. I think it's a really cool way to roll out magic, and it allows every player to have the magic rather than just
Yeah.
one caster class.
Yeah, exactly. We are
But
not.
we do talk a lot about that. A lot of the players are asking us about caster classes and stuff like that. We're a small team, and that's a pretty big ask. But we are discussing it. So I'm not going to say that we will have caster classes. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying the idea is being
Discussed, yeah.
constantly discussed. So, but yeah, I mean, just you guys know we listen to you. So if you're talking about caster classes, we're talking about caster classes. So, anyway.
And pet classes. That will be the fight.
But I will say I'm really excited for, there's a couple of other things that we're doing before we get to Alchemy 3, but Alchemy 3 is still on the roadmap. There's still going to be some cool stuff that you can do with Ember for Alchemy 3, so don't count it out, don't count it out. Don't say, well, it doesn't have caster classes, so blah, blah, blah. But, Alchemy 3 is still to come, so don't forget about that. But yeah, I think priority list right now, what we're looking at is Forgotten Depths 3 and Epic Quests is the next big one. So
I really like the fact that we are not discriminating, and that it's not just the wizards that can manipulate Ember, that anyone can do it, that you don't have a specific birth or path of life or whatever, but you can learn if you want about it, if you want to do it. And that is unique to our game. You don't have that in any other game. And I think that's something really, really cool. And to go back to what Annoying Llama is saying in this video, that we are selling ourselves short, I think it also comes to the way that we didn't want to oversell ourselves, that we were cautious about not disappointing people, and maybe we have like be too cautious. Maybe we have been I don't know, I would say too modest, like someone that's like confidence, I guess, something like that. Or you could compare it to that, someone which is a little bit shy. Maybe we have been shy with our game, I don't know.
It's the most difficult thing that I've experienced in game development is the marketing aspect. It's not easy, and there are a lot of people in the industry talking about how marketing, the old ways of marketing just don't work. The typical channels you would use don't work, and it's just, the whole genre is shifting, the way to market is shifting, and we're kind of in a weird tabula rasa situation where we have to figure out how to do that successfully again. So it's been doubly hard for us because we're a small little company. So
yeah, we don't have the money for marketing. That's the thing you guys realize. We have tried, we have spent a lot of budget on marketing for no result. And we cannot compete with the big company that invest like more money than the development of their game in marketing. That's just crazy. We cannot do anything like that. So it's to the point where it feels like it's better to barely do anything at this point, because it feels like it's just money wasted, and it's not like we're running on it. So we have to be very cautious about how we're spending our fund and what we're using it for. And so, but you're the businessman, so
yeah, no, you're right about that. So
your person Karen is saying it's less about marketing and more about manifesting hype. We need hype for each and every major update that come out, which is what we have tried to do that, honestly, with our possibility. Like before we were patching every week, and then we decided we will patch every month, so we can do a trailer, so we can do a little bit of a discussion about it in the community show, stuff like that. But we are only so many people. It's not Bobby that's going to write social media posts, right? So,
Yeah, and Zig, you know, it's partly that, but it's also partly we kind of expected some of the bigger MMO content creators to cover us by now, and we just haven't had that. So that's another piece of the puzzle that hasn't fallen into place. So we're working on getting some more of those types to cover us. So we'll keep trying.
yeah.
But ultimately, that's not up to us. It's up to those content creators on whether or not they want to cover us, and they've got to keep their channel moving forward. So they're probably trying to do the things that are kind of being hyped and have a lot of players and are generating a lot of clicks for them. And I'm not sure that they see Embers Adrift as something that will help them with that. So it's a really, really hard thing to do. And I think we've got a fantastic, wonderful game here. Is it perfect? No. I think it would be perceived a lot more perfect if we had, hundreds of players concurrently in there. But we need the stars to kind of align there. So that's what we're working towards. We're working towards working with some bigger MMO people to cover us.
At this point, we're really doing what we can with what we have. We're just continuing to work on the game and to everyone in the team is working in their fields, doing the stuff they do, and I do believe that we have done everything we could to make the game more accessible, to make the game more welcoming, and there's more we can do, but that's just what at this point it's the only thing we can do. We can just continue to work on things and to finish what we plan. And
I think you guys are really going to like the epic quests. It's going to be different than what it's not going to be too different. It's going to be an epic weapon quest. But there's going to be additional layers beyond once you're done with the quests. So that being said, I think that's going to be the next really major hype point for us when Forgotten Depths 3 comes out and the epic weapon quests come out. I'm looking forward to hopefully a lot of former players coming back and checking us out and getting their epic weapons. And I think once they can see all the things that we've done to improve the game and whatnot, they'll stick around and keep pushing. So
I will take the chance to say thank you to massively overpower MMORPG.com and MMOBomb that are covering us every month and that sometimes are watching those videos. So if you see this segment, thank you very much.
Yes, thank you.
So here it is. We need to do the weekly game because the weekly game is back. If Flubbit is in the place, he will be happy. Weekly game. And there. The weekly game. So the weekly game is a little game that I'm doing every week. Well, it has been off for a while, where I'm giving you a little instruction and you can post a screenshot, and then one person that is winning this weekly game will receive 1 gold in their mailbox. Maybe one day, Drindin, we will have something more cool than a gold in the mailbox. So its little love was a confirmation. All right, take a screenshot including let's hype up the new patch. Take a screenshot of the Dryfoot Fortress. Perfect occasion to travel in Dryfoot if you have never been. 1 screenshot per player, obviously. Here it is. Let's see our entries. First, it's Doug. Awesome place. Look at this beautiful screenshot. We can see him kind of close up, looking in the distance. Like he's dreaming about how will I enter into this fortress? What are the mystery inside this fortress? Very beautiful screenshot. Here we have Flub. Flub is a nice screenshot of the wall of the fortress during the dark night. So then, of course, it's more about that idea of sneaking in the fortress during the night by the wall, climbing on the wall. You cannot do that. Here we have Katira. Katira, which is also looking at the Dryfoot Fortress in the distance with their wonderful turnip heads. A very beautiful, very large landscape as well. It's not the same perspective than the screenshot of dog. And last but not least, Marcus from Oz is also taking a screenshot of himself around the rampart of the Dryfoot Fortress during the night. So thanks to those 4 participants. Thank you very much for participating. Now we're getting a winner. 1 is Doug, 2 is Flub, 3 is Katira, and 4 is Marcus. Let's go. Congratulations, Marcus. You will receive 1 gold into your mailbox. Yay! Because now we have mailbox, so it's cool.
Oh, Zig. Gross.
There it is. So that's it for today. Drindin, is there anything you want to add before we end the show?
Just a thank you to our community. Appreciate you guys. Really appreciate the positive affirmations you guys have been giving us lately. That's been highly appreciated. So thank you guys, and just I know we had a bunch of QOL updates previously, but we're working on that juicy stuff now, so get excited.
Yeah, but the quality of life needed to be done.
Yeah, let your friends who've taken a break from Embers know that that juicy stuff is coming up soon. So.
And as a reminder, we have 2 posts with your feedback requested. 1 is for your favorite auction, market, trading system. Please give your favorite system. This post is on the forum. And then you also have the quest location. What location is missing some quests? What do you want to discover? That is a request from a writer, Wade, which is we want to create content where you guys want to have more content. So give your feedback in those 2 threads. You will find them in the forum. If you're watching this video on YouTube, you will find all the indication in the information below. Please check out also the content creator I've been speaking about this week. Be sure to like and share their video. It's always nice for content creator to see their content shared and appreciated. Thank you so very much for watching. I will see you next week. You take care of yourself. Bye bye, everyone.
Thanks, guys.